Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
So if I could control how you spend your attention, if I could maybe steal your attention through a distraction.
Stop letting the financial world divert your attention away from your money. Stay tuned as we discuss the pyramid of misdirection.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, Tony Walker.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Them that have it, get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it. And it sticks to them like glue. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.
Referred to by Forbes magazine as an artful manipulator of awareness, legendary pickpocket artist Apollo Robbins asks an interesting question when it comes to diverting one man's attention to get what you want. He says we can only perceive so much information. In other words, according to Mr. Robbins, it's a lot easier to follow what someone else is saying, especially if what we see appears to be what everybody else is seeing, something in the financial world we call the herd mentality. Notice Robbins, if you watch this particular video, it's a classic. He's able to divert our attention away from what he is actually doing to this man on stage, taking his watch and everything else he's got, as he captivates the viewers and the audience to follow along with what he wants us to follow, and then, right in plain sight, steals this man blind. Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am that little man in the sweater vest, 401k rollover specialist, and fiduciary Tony Walker. And if you feel like you're in the same boat as this poor old soul that was being pickpocketed and delusioned by the world-renowned pickpocket artist Apollo Robbins, maybe that's you. You feel like you're in that same boat when it comes to your money. You feel like maybe you're just simply following the herd. Well, you've come to the right place, because today and for the next 5 weeks on the Worry-Free Retirement, we're going to share with you what I call the pyramid of misdirection as proposed by the financial world and their tactics to attack savers, and sometimes how savers fall victim as a result. Well, with us in the studio, as always, is America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander, who's also producing the show. And again, Aaron, we've got your favorite new sidekick, Miss Megan Murphy, who's over there as a technical assistant. Tell me real quick, because I haven't done an employee review with her yet. How's she doing? Don't talk too loud. She's sitting right beside you.
On a scale of 1 to 10 or a grade or what? A 2? She's saying give her a 2.
Oh, she said 11.
She said 11. I thought she said 2. Okay. No.
Yeah, we got to build some self-confidence in Megan there.
She's doing great. She's bringing a lot of good ideas to the table, so we're very happy to have her.
And one thing you folks have got to do, you may be aware of it, but we also have something called the Worry-Free Retirement television show. It's on in 7 stations now. Oh, incidentally, we will welcome, they'll start this week in WLAP, right?
That's correct.
We welcome WLAP Radio in Lexington every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. We appreciate Gina, our media buyer, lining that up. And welcome to the folks in Lexington. My old stomping ground as a kid, still got my mom and brother up there, and enjoy coming to Lexington, and decided we're getting so much feedback from our TV show on LEX in Lexington, we decided to do the radio show as well. But for a complete listing of the television show, which Aaron and Megan helped produce, just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. The TV show is a little different format, especially with graphics and things we can show that we cannot do, obviously, on the magic of radio. So we're talking about diversionary tactics. And there's 5 of these. We're going to get into these over the next 5 weeks, but I think it's good to set the stage, Aaron. Of course, you know I wrote a book called Don't Follow the Herd. You've been with me a long time, and you know about that book. But I got to ask you that question. I know you've seen things on TV, but have you ever been live and in person with either a magician or an illusionist? I mean, in the audience where you're trying to watch them.
I've never seen one live. I've seen plenty of videos and seen them on TV and stuff, but I've never been to a magic show, I guess is what they would call it, an illusionist. I've never been to one live.
We had actually at our client event several years ago a gentleman, a magician out of Indiana. Man, that guy was good. He was really good. In fact, I think we're going to have him back. But my wife and I were in Vegas at a conference and went to see David Copperfield. You've heard of him, haven't you?
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess it's kind of funny because you get in there, you're looking around, and really I'm such a skeptic. I'm literally trying to figure out what the diversion or the illusion is, because obviously it's magic, but I don't really believe in just true magic. I don't think David Copperfield made that car appear out of thin air, but how he did it and whatever he knew to do to keep our attention off what they were doing, it's pretty amazing. So I would encourage you, if you can ever, our client event, we're going to hopefully have this magician, so this fall you'll get to see him, but it's just very difficult to watch what they're doing. But the financial world, Aaron, is just like that. They have figured out, remember the goal of the financial world, folks, here's the simple goal, and I'm not trying to be nasty or ugly, I'm just trying to arm you with an understanding of what you are dealing with from the financial world, all these messages you constantly are bombarded with, all these things they tell you to do, and you got to remember, everyone, even including yours truly, I mean this show, although we're trying to focus on savers, you know, ultimately my objective is to teach you about money, but secondly, I'm looking for people out there who, number one, don't have a financial advisor in whom they can trust, and number two, maybe have money they need to invest, or a 401k they want to roll over to safer territory that includes a game plan and includes somebody with the type of experience I have. So yeah, I've got ulterior motives, but what I've always tried to do in my practice is not provide diversionary tactics to get you to do things that I want you to do that may not be in your best interest. And unfortunately, that's kind of how the financial world thinks. A lot of them are not really concerned about what's in your best interest. I mean, sure, they'll pay you a good interest rate or they'll do this or that, but their goal is to make a profit on your money. It's that plain and simple. Now, an example of this, if I might, Aaron, you're almost probably sick of me talking about my granddad, or do you still enjoy hearing about him?
No, I like hearing about him.
Okay.
You sound like you're a pretty good guy.
Yeah, but it'll help set the stage for where we're going today and for the next 5 weeks. So my granddad retired in 1978 from Bell South. Incidentally, I don't know if you knew this, since we've got LEX in Lexington, while he was working at Bell South for a period of time, I guess to make extra money, he worked as an engineer at LEX TV for about 2 years. Isn't that
very
wild?
cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
He would help put on the guys there and worked in the background. You've kind of done some of that in that world. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. But back then, when he went to work for Bell South in 1932, he was promised if he stayed with the company, he would get a pension. He called it mailbox money. Makes sense?
Right.
Well, in 1978, something happened. In fact, Congress enacted into law what we know is now the 401k plan. Now, so an example of this concept of following the herd, what happened was employers who could not afford these pension plans did not want to keep doing them because of the cost. We're seeing this play out with the teachers' retirement. Folks, I mean, these things are expensive, and if you don't have the right management, if you don't have the right people handling these things, they can be a problem, and employers realize this. As people were living longer, they realized, hey, we can't afford these pensions. We can't keep paying lifetime income to these workers, so we'll get out of it. We'll turn the risk over to them. We'll let the Wall Street come in on Main Street here and usher in these 401k plans. Now, there's a problem with that. A 401k plan, in most cases, number one, introduces risk, something savers do not like. Number two, what it does not provide, again, in most cases, listen, the key word is guaranteed. I'm talking guaranteed income for the rest of your life. So if you're one of those out there that's worried about running out of money and you've stockpiled all this money in your 401k, especially if you're over the age of 59 and a half, getting ready to retire, you've already retired, and that money's still out there at risk, or you've rolled that over to another person on Wall Street and you're a saver, I mean that's ridiculous. We can show you how to create, as part of a game plan, mailbox money for life, just like Granddad. The problem is, because you're following the herd, which means you're doing what everybody else does. In this example, you've been told to max out your 401k. You've been told that the stock market always goes up. Don't worry about it. If it goes down, it'll always come back. Well, folks, all that's fine if you're 40 years of age or Aaron or Megan's age. But if you're retired or retiring soon, and you're going to go with that herd mentality of just leave your money there and hang in there if it goes down, folks, that's going to be worrisome. This is called the worry-free retirement. It's not the worry-more retirement. So when we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to take a deeper dive and try to understand this whole concept of the herd mentality. It's not something I came up with. Obviously, I wrote the book, Don't Follow the Herd, some 9 years ago, so I've been using this concept for years, but it is something that the financial world is well aware of. In fact, there's been a new field startup several years ago called behavioral finance. Now, don't let the title bore you or turn you off, folks. You've got to listen to this, because as you start to understand what's going on and the ability to, unfortunately, sometimes follow the herd in the wrong direction, you're going to want to learn the secrets to a worry-free retirement. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Can you afford for your money to take a hit with the stock market being so volatile these days? Nobody can time the market, but having a retirement game plan with Tony Walker Financial gives you peace of mind and sleep insurance. Learn how to prevent losses in your retirement accounts and plan your retirement around an income you can never outlive. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com today to schedule a personal meeting with Tony to secure your hard-earned money. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a buyout? Has the company you work for recently moved or been acquired or closed its doors forever? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k to safer territory. Why continue to risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person today to discuss your retirement options. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your no-obligation appointment to meet with me in person. Do it today. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am Tony Walker, and before we went on, Aaron, did you have fun with that little card trick I showed you?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That's cool to watch.
I can't remember who taught me that. Years ago, I was a child. I loved card tricks, and that was called the 7-card trick. I think nobody's ever figured that one out. I didn't tell you how I did it, did I?
No.
But I've diverted your attention. I had you fooled,
Right.
And when I showed you it was your card, you were like, what?
Yeah, I was pretty amazed. That's pretty cool.
So what we're going to do, actually we record, so this radio show, folks, here's how people ask, when do you do these shows? Well, we record the radio and TV shows on the same day in our Louisville studios. So today, this recording is June 19th, 2019. So we'll also be recording a TV show today. Now, kind of make a note of this. If you want to see the actual trick live on the recorded TV show and also on the TV show, I'm going to disclose how I diverted Aaron's attention. So I'm going to show you the trick. Most magicians don't do this. You realize, Aaron, don't you?
Right.
Okay. That show will air on July 14th. Now, by the way, any of these shows, radios, especially the TV show, if you go to our YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com, type in Tony Walker Financial, and you can watch past episodes of the TV show if you like. A lot of people do that. Or, of course, on TV, you can DVR these shows. And again, not that the radio show is not a pretty cool show, but the TV show is really good because, again, we can illustrate so much more. All right, so basically, Aaron, your eyes played tricks on you. I knew what I was doing. I was in control of this trick, right? Mm-hmm. And the same way holds true for your money, folks. You are dealing in a world, many of you will admit this to me when we meet in person, a world you do not understand. I met a gentleman last night, Aaron, and I mean, he was so upset with himself because he had felt like he had allowed an advisor, as he put it, I'm serious, to rip him off. Over the years, he said, I feel like I've been ripped off. I feel like they lied to me. But why do you think he was mad at himself?
Because they didn't catch it sooner.
Didn't catch it sooner. And he realizes that he was following the herd. Apparently, this gentleman that worked with him knew the family. The family had referred him. So in his words, I think what he was saying is, hey, my family worked with this guy. They said he was really good. I didn't want to be left out. Mm-hmm. I wanted to follow what everybody else was doing. But what he admitted was he was mad at himself because he really didn't understand what he was doing. Yeah. He was blindly trusting this person. And folks, that's what many of you are doing. So this behavioral finance issue is a key issue in the financial world, and many people are starting to really study it, trying to figure out why people blindly follow the herd. Give me an example, Aaron. I'm catching you off guard here, but let's forget finances. How do people in this world, you've probably seen it before, what are examples of things that people just blindly follow? Give me an example of something.
Oh, I don't know. Well, a lot of people blindly follow what the news tells them or what they.
Give me an example. I'll give you another. We're going to talk about social media. What about social media? If you're getting ready to go to a restaurant, what do you immediately do on social media?
Oh, you want to look up the ratings and,
Yeah.
and see what it's like and see if there's any bad reviews, or
Right.
what the good reviews are, if there are any, things like that.
And so let me ask you this. Let's say there's 99% good reviews, and we assume they're verified, but does that necessarily mean you're going to have a good experience at that
Does
restaurant?
that mean you specifically?
Yes.
No, not you
Right.
specifically. No.
You drive by down, you go down the town, you're in a strange town, you don't know where you're going, and you see one restaurant across the street that's full of cars, and another restaurant that looks a little dumpy, that doesn't have many cars. You're going to assume what?
You're going to assume the one with the packed cars has got better food.
You know what, I've been told when you go to a strange place like that, look at the license plates. Look for the local license plates,
okay.
even if it's a dive, because that's
a
usually
good tip.
Yeah, the out-of-state license, they don't know. They're following the herd. So anyway, yeah, we can all think of our examples. But in a one particular article entitled, What is Herd Mentality Bias? This came out of corporatefinanceinstitute.com. It refers kind of to this 4 buckets of decision-making. I thought this was very fascinating. First of all, these are the things we go through, all right? Self-deception. So if we are deceived about something or someone is deceiving us about something, we have trouble learning. So there's a lot of people, Aaron, and I don't know if they really intentionally do this, but they're very dogmatic financially. They're on the radio or TV or the internet, and it really is their way or the highway. And they are so convincing and so confident in what they believe. Many of times it's not correct. You know, there is no one size fits all, but they pretend there is. And then these people, they almost build like disciples. And then occasionally these same people that have learned under them, let's say, and come to me, they have a wall built up and I can't get around it. Even if what I'm trying to tell them I think is good for them, as soon as I mention a certain word or a certain product, they just shut me down. So this self-deception that many of you are under from people who are not necessarily, either they're know-it-alls or they're not really looking out for your best interest, limits your learning. The second thing is called heuristic simplification, which refers to, it's a complicated way of saying it's just information processing errors. You're taking in information, it's a subject maybe not familiar to you, you don't know how to process it, so everything you're processing is in error. Have you ever done that before? You're trying to take in information, Aaron. I've done this before. I really don't know what I'm trying to take in. I think I do, and I start processing and everything, and then I look back and I thought, I didn't really understand the information. I was processing it, but, okay, really dangerous stuff. Emotion, boy, this is a big one. I've told my wife, I'm not on Facebook. You know what, my wife every once in a while, she'll look at a picture or something, and there's a bunch of people that she knows. She's admitted this once. One time she said, I kind of wished I'd been invited to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Social
What was
media's
she
great at that.
experiencing? Really, what was that? Just
a feeling of being left out.
FOMO, fear of
FOMO,
missing
yeah.
out. Yeah, FOMO. So emotion is strong, folks. So yeah, if everybody and your brother is investing in the 401k, and lately the 401k stock market has gone up, and you haven't been in the stock market, you're going to feel like you've missed out. You're going to feel like emotionally you've made a mistake. And then finally, social, which means just how we're influenced by others. Well, this was something my granddad never worried about because we didn't have social media when he retired in '78. So he wanted his pension. He didn't care anything about the stock market. He didn't have to go to the internet. He didn't have anybody telling him how crazy he was. So again, social media, socially and social media. So those are the 4 biases that affect us. So sometimes when people make decisions, I'm trying to think through that. How did you arrive at this decision? Why are you investing in what you're investing in? And maybe we need to back up and look at this. There was a poll done, incidentally, Aaron. This poll looked at behavioral biases and the effects of investment decisions, and actually they polled 720 investment advisors, such as myself, and what they found was following the herd. They felt like people followed the herd garnered the most votes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people are not making decisions based on what they want. They're not making decisions based on rational information. What they're saying is, I think it's, where was it, 34%, I think? That was 34% of all the options. That was the most that got the votes, was following the herd.
They just went where everybody else went.
Go where everybody else goes. Exactly. Oh, this is funny. Speaking of investments, you gave me a book about this. Did you ever really read the book or understand anything about the tulip mania?
I knew a little bit about it. I did not read the book. I just knew it was something you wanted to read. So,
folks, if you want to have some fun, Google tulip mania in the 1600s. And literally what happened was, this is how people can follow the herd to extreme. People were duped into thinking that all of these tulips over in Holland and seeds and everything else were worth all of this money. So people were literally spending everything they had to buy the seeds and buy the tulips. They were trying to raise tulips. Now, I saw this play out. This was back in the 90s. Somebody had referred me to a business owner, and they said, man, this guy's sharp, Tony. I bet he could use your help investing all this money he's making. I said, what's he doing? He was investing in ostriches and emus. You know what an emu is? It's like
Yes.
a small ostrich.
Yeah.
So he lived in Tennessee. I went over to his place, and sure enough, there's ostriches everywhere, emus. The guy was a sharp guy. Went inside, and there's all these incubators. And he's keeping all these ostrich eggs. I said, what are you doing with those? He says, I'm selling them right now, the ostrich eggs, for $10,000 a piece.
$10,000 a piece.
And he said, you know who's buying them?
I'm in the wrong
people,
business.
Yeah, people with a lot of money that are trying to make a lot of money. But there are people that are outside their profession. These were doctors, lawyers, even some financial advisors, because they knew you could, quote, make a lot of money, or so they were told. The emus had all this certain oil that was supposed to be extracted. And, of course, all this turned out to be nothing more than just I hate to say, a Ponzi scheme.
Governor, the term Ponzi scheme is what scared seniors.
Or in other words, there's a sucker born every minute. So, folks, what we're talking about is the idea of not following the herd. So when we come back, I promised you I would get to this. It's something I've come up with called the pyramid of misdirection. And this is going to lead us into the next 5 weeks of what we're going to be talking about, the 5 things that the financial world must do and will do to get you to follow the herd so you won't feel like you're missing out on all the fun and all the money everybody else is making. You're listening to The Warrior for Retirement. Stay tuned. I'll explain exactly what I'm talking about. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a buyout? Has the company you work for recently moved or been acquired or closed its doors forever? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k to safer territory. Why continue to risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person today to discuss your retirement options. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your no-obligation appointment to meet with me in person. Do it today.
Tired of the financial world chasing after your money? Dinner seminar invitations? Annoying pop-up ads on your computer from out-of-state advisors? It all adds up to confusion. There is a better way. Meet in person with nationally recognized retirement specialist Tony Walker. Tony's personal one-on-one approach has helped thousands of savers worry less about money, and best of all, Tony's right in our own backyard. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Make the short drive to meet in person with Tony now. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
And now it's time for Tony in the Trenches.
All right, we've got a great question. I'll jump right into it in the essence of time. It says, Tony, I recently attended a dinner seminar offered by a financial advisor, and after the meeting, I did decide to go ahead and meet with this advisor because what he showed me was pretty interesting, particularly about annuities. When I met with the gentleman, he quickly showed me an illustration and talked to me about how this annuity would guarantee, he used the word guarantee here, guarantee an interest rate of 10%. He's wanting me to roll my 401k over to this annuity, but all of this sounds too good to be true. Is it? Well, boy, this is a great question, and again, I wished I had more time to explain it, but folks, right now, let me break it down this way. This is really a follow the herd. This is almost like a half-truth, Aaron. You know what a half-truth is?
Right.
The first part of it's true, but you got to know the rest
Like
of
a
it to
white
know it's
lie a
false.
little
It's
bit.
kind of a white lie.
Yeah.
So yes, folks, that is called an income rider. A rider is attached to a current annuity, and some of them are paying 10%. That would be a simple interest calculation. The compound income riders are around 6% right now. But what you have to understand is, yeah, it pays 10% guaranteed, but only for a limited period of time, usually about 10 years. And also, once you begin your mailbox money, that's a mailbox money account, the 10% stops and it becomes what's called a payout rate. In addition, if you were to die, the 10% return on your money goes away. Folks, these are fixed indexed annuities. The rate of return that you would actually have if you surrendered the policy or at your death is more than likely not going to be anywhere near this 10% they're promising. So yes, here's the thing. If you are thinking about buying an annuity, maybe you've got an older annuity, or you're sitting there thinking, man, I think I've been hoodwinked on this thing. I don't have a game plan at all for this annuity. We get this all the time. Please, please let us know. I'll be happy to review the annuity, or before you buy an annuity, make sure it fits your situation. Folks, just don't run out and roll 401ks into annuities without having a game plan. So if you want to meet with me in person, just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. If you have a question for me, You can email me at tony@TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Also, by the way, on our website is a great booklet, 2 of them actually, Mailbox Money for Life and the Annuity Decision Guide for Savers, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You owe it to yourself to download those free booklets so you can learn the truth about annuities. All right, so if you're just now joining us, we're talking about following the herd, or possibly don't follow the herd, how the financial institution is able to misdirect what you see and over to what they want you to do. We call this the pyramid of misdirection. So over the next 5 weeks, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that the financial world is constantly trying to do. Remember, their job is to get your money, hold on to it, keep it as long as possible, and unfortunately, give you back as little as possible. Folks, that's the game. That is the rules you're playing under. Don't kid yourself. Now, is this game legal? Yep. Is it ethical? Yeah. Can it be misconstrued and become unethical? Yes, it can. So this is why you need a trusted advisor. Before you rush into anything, just try to understand the marketing you're being shared, the radio shows, the TV shows, the internet. You've got to put this in the context of you and your situation. You've got to do what's best for you. All right? So here they are. And again, we'll cover these over the next 5 weeks. These are the 5 biggest misdirection techniques served up by the financial world in order for them to get your money and hang on to it. Number 1, more risk. That's right. The financial world, especially Wall Street, would have savers believe that the only way you can make it is to take more risk. And in fact, think about TV. Think how much TV, even our local news does this, is constantly talking about the stock market. And a lot of times what happens, I know this goes through your mind, especially when the market goes up, many of you are so upset that you didn't have any money in the market. Let's say you're a saver and you're afraid of the market, and you think, gosh, I wish I'd taken more risk. However, rewind to this past December of 2018, we have clients. Again, we have money we have a little bit of our clients' money in the market. Okay, we have a great platform through Charles Schwab. Incidentally, a lot of people think all we do is annuities. That's not true at all. We also offer an investment platform. Our fee is a whopping 0.6%. Aaron, somebody was in last night wanted me to look at the fees they're paying. We're going to save them. Our fees are almost a third less. Okay, so you take a $200,000 account. If somebody's charging 1.5%, that's $3,000 a year per year that Wally World's getting versus we would only charge $1,200 a year in that same example. It's a big difference in fees. But anyway, more risk. You don't have to take more risk, folks. There are ways to safely enjoy your money and use it throughout retirement. So that's one of the big misdirections. You got to take more risk. Number 2, you've got to have more money as you get older. That is not true at all. The one benefit you have in working with me, folks, is experience. I've done this 35 years. I've literally met with over 10,000 people in person. I can document this. I've personally overseen over 4,000 written game plans. I can document this. So what I've noticed is people get older. I've seen this for years. I talked about it in my first book, The Worry-Free Retirement. They begin to spend less, not more. The next is more magic. You know, there's a book written called The Magic Number or The Number of One or something like that. And a lot of people have this idea that there's a certain magical number you're supposed to have in the future. Again, totally erroneous. It has nothing to do with you. Don't fall for that stuff. And we'll get into more on that in the coming weeks. More cost. You know, the more and more things that they charge, the more fees, taxes, insurance premiums, interest. You know, all these things, there are costs associated with all of it, and what the financial world's trying to do is help justify cost, or in many cases, doesn't want to talk about cost. They'll hide the fact that there are costs. You've got to understand that. And finally, the 5th is more fear. Fear of running out of money, fear of going into a nursing home, fear that you won't leave anything when you die to your kids, fear that you'll miss out on the next stock market return. Fear, fear, fear. So over the next 5 weeks, what we're going to do is take a deep dive into each of these issues, each of these techniques that I call the pyramid of misdirection, and we're going to learn how to avoid being misdirected with your finances so that you too can enjoy more of your money. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's program. We've certainly enjoyed being with you. And again, we welcome the folks at WLAP in Lexington and, of course, in Bardstown and Bowling Green. And until next time on the Worry-Free Retirement, you remember between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it. it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.